How do you get an agent? And not just any agent, an agent that's awesome? Keep watching this video. Hi pals, so you want to get an agent, and not just any agent, you want an awesome agent that's totally aligned with you, that's gonna help you move up in your career. And maybe you are just starting out, or maybe you want to switch agents, or maybe you are getting into the film and TV and commercial industry from the theater or stage world. Whatever the reason, you want an agent. This can be a challenging process. It can be confusing. It can be frustrating. And it can involve a lot of rejection. So a lot of actors don't like doing this. And I totally get you, which is why I'm making a 2-part video series for you that breaks down step by step exactly what you need to know and exactly what you need to do in order to get an awesome agent. At the end of this video, you're gonna find out exactly what you need to do to feel ready to submit to agencies and also to stand out amongst the sea of actors that are applying to agencies as well. Because pals, it is competitive out there and it's tough. I'm gonna be honest. So what I want you to do is hit the subscribe button, click on the bell so that you can be notified when the second part of this video comes out, along with my future videos, which are coming out every week, my friends. Yee! I'm Jennifer Pelak. I'm an actor and performing artist and coach from Vancouver, Canada. Please comment below and let me know where you're from and what kind of performance experience you have. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are on top of your game. What does that mean? Well, it means a few things. First, it means to really understand why you want an agent and what it is you want out of it. So I would take some time, get a piece of paper or your journal and jot down what you want out of an agent and why it is you want it in the first place. If you're having a little trouble doing this soul searching, I have actually created another video about this that I'll link below this video, so you can check that out and get some help. Secondly, you need to be on top of your game in terms of your skills as an actor. So this means you need to have training, you need to have acting experience. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you do have acting experience. If you don't, I recommend that you go and take classes for a while and then come back to this video and search look up getting an agent. It's much better getting an agent after you've got some experience than trying to jump in and not know what you're doing. If you do have acting experience, make sure that you also have on-camera experience and auditioning experience. Why? It's because when you get an agent, what's going to start happening? They're going to be sending you out on auditions and you're going to be making new connections with casting directors. So you want to be audition ready. So make sure that you are on top of your auditioning game. And if you're just switching agents, it might be worth it to get into a class to just build up your confidence again as an actor and just make sure that you know what you're doing, if there's any tweaks in your process or in the way you're showing up in rooms, just so that you feel like you have that extra edge when you're going in for meetings with agents. The third way to be on top of your game is to have a really good business sense of all of this. And so that means you need to know that this is a business and that you are fulfilling a need. So you need to figure out what is that need that I can fill. And so that means getting really clear on your castable type. How do you do that? Well, you can start asking people in acting classes how you show up, what kind of type you think you play. You can ask your acting coaches. You could also go on the street and survey people and create a survey going like, how do I strike you? And it's easiest to find out from strangers, actually. Another way to do it is to look at the shows that are filming or any show that's filming and compare yourself. What characters do you think you could most likely be cast as? Who do you look like? Because this industry is very looks-based right now and probably will be for a long time. So it's really important to get very clear on what box do I fit in and what need am I going to fill really easily, especially when you're first starting out. The more specific you can get, the easier of a time you're going to have. And also it's going to be a lot easier when you are targeting agents, when you're clear on that. So something else about the business that's really helpful is to know what's actually shooting in your town, what you could most likely be cast in. And so there's multiple reasons for that, but the first is so that you can figure out your type and what shows you'd most likely be on. So how do you do that? Use your friend Google. Just type in what's currently filming or what's currently shooting in, and then your city, and they're guaranteed there's going to be a list that's going to come up, and you can look at that list, start looking at trailers, start looking at TV shows that are on there and films, and getting a sense of what's actually there. And then I'm going to get you to do something else, which is going to come up later in this video, which is a really powerful tool, taking the shows that you know and looking them up in a specific way so that you can get super clear on who's casting them, and then super clear on what agents have good relationships with those casting directors so that you know who you can target specifically when you're applying for agents. And one more thing, I thought I'd mention this in case you are totally brand new, and that is you need to be able to accommodate auditions at the last minute. So often you get called the night before to audition for something the next day. So you need to be able to have time to prepare for those auditions that night, and you need to be able to move your schedule around so that you can accommodate the audition the next day. So is your life set up for that? If it's not, make sure you do that before you start trying to get an agent. So step 2 is to have solid materials. There are 3 core materials that you need: your headshot, your resume, and your demo. Yup, you need all 3, and they need to be current, and they need to look like you, and it needs to show that you are a good actor. So if you're just starting out, I recommend don't spend too much money on new headshots, because likely when you get an agent, they'll probably want you to retake your headshots. That happens 90% of the time because they're gonna have a specific idea for how to pitch you and market you to casting, and so they're probably gonna want new headshots. So you definitely need a good one still in order to get through the door so that these agents can look at your headshot and go, okay, this actor knows what they're doing, and I see their type and everything, but know that you probably are gonna have to reshoot, so don't spend too much money. The second thing is your resume. So make sure that it has stuff on there and that it is formatted so in the way that an actor's resume should be. You can also find that on Google very, very easily, so I'm not going to share that with you. Third is to have a demo. And so it's tough now. Agents really do want to see demo footage. You could get some footage from you in class, but I do think that most of them are looking for footage that looks professional, which can put you in a catch-22 if you've never been on anything. So what I would recommend you do is start off by submitting yourself for student films and indie films. Maybe even consider shooting your own content, which is something that I actually did when I first started trying to get an agent. I created my own, I wrote my own scripts and shot my own stuff, and it only took a day, and then I had material up, and it actually did get me into rooms. So know that that's an option for you as well. I'll throw some links down below with some sites that you can go on and get profiles on so that you can actually find some of those indie films and student films. And now for our last step, step 3, and that is to target the right agents. And so that means you're gonna target agents that are gonna wanna sign you because you're perfect for them, and also that you're going to want because they have the relationships with the casting directors that you want to develop relationships with, because they're attached to the shows that you know you most likely could be cast in. What? How do you do this? It's by getting an IMDb Pro account. So I'm going to show you my screen as to how to make that work for you. Okay, so before we get into IMDb Pro, what I want you to do is create a nerdy spreadsheet. I have used Google Sheets here. I have 2 tabs. This tab is shows and casting directors. So this is where you're going to write down a list of the shows that you want to be on that are filming in your area and the list of the casting directors who cast those shows. You can figure this out through IMDb Pro, which I will get to in a moment. The other tab, you're going to create a list. Feel free to pause this video to get a good sense of what my spreadsheet has on here. But you want to create a list of agents and then their agency and the submission details, so email addresses, websites, information, any casting directors they have relationships with, notes that you are noticing, and if there's any names of people you know that actually know those people, because that can be really helpful for getting a referral later when you do submit to them, which I will be talking about in the next video. All right, so once you have this, again, use your good friend Google to figure out what's shooting in your area. So literally just what's filming currently in BC. That's where I'm from, so I'm gonna look that up. Here we go, here's a list. I'm gonna click on here, and this is a huge list of all that's filming in Vancouver, which is so exciting, friends. And what I do, and I would recommend to start, is to find a TV show that has been shooting a few seasons so that you can look up episodes that have already been cast. So Riverdale, let's say Riverdale is a show that I know that I could be on and is one of the ones I want to target. So this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go into IMDb Pro, which, by the way, you can get a free 30-day trial for. So good. And once you're in, this is my account here, once you're in IMDb Pro, you can look up the show and clicking on it. And what I'm going to do first is figure out who the casting director is for this show. And how I do that is you go to filmmakers here, and you can filter by profession because it's a huge list. And you click on casting director and casting department, and now it's going to filter. And what I do know about this show, which is the case for a lot of shows in Vancouver, for those of you Vancouver actors that are watching this, is that a lot of the leads most of the leads are cast out of LA. So these casting directors, if you click on them, you'll find out that they are in LA. And so what you want to find out is who the casting director is for your area. So for Vancouver, I can see here that Sean Cossey and JJ Ogilvy cast Riverdale. So I'm going to go to my sheet and type in the name of the show and the name of the casting director. All right, so this information is so valuable to know. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to find a recent episode that was cast. So I'm going into season 3. This episode aired on May 15th, 2019, so I know that was recent. And then I'm going to scroll down and find out who was cast in it. So these are all the stars of the show. It's usually listed by the star meter, like the popular lead roles start off the top and then you scroll down. So if I'm starting out and I'm probably looking for the smaller parts, the bit parts on the show, or possibly a recurring character. But so what I'm going to do is click on Beverly here. She's played Sister Woodhouse on Riverdale, which is probably a one-show character. And I can then see all the shows that she's been in and TV movies and stuff. But I can also see, which is the key to an IMDb Pro account, who her agent is over here on the left. So you can get the agency name, all the contact info, and the name of the agent. So you can go into your sheet and then put in all that information so that if you decide later to apply to them, you can. So I'm not going to do that because that's going to take up a bit too much time in this video, but I think you get what I mean. What you can do now is then click on that agent's name. And then you can see a list of her clients. These are all of the actors that she represents. So then you can keep going down your wormhole and click on different actors in here and find out what they've booked. Because that also then makes clear what casting directors this agent has a good relationship with.
So if I'm clicking on Camille here, I can see she's played recently a recurring role on this TV series. And I'm looking at who the casting directors are here, and that's Corinne Clark and Jennifer Page. So I can also write down in my spreadsheet that that agent has a relationship with those casting directors as well. So what's going to happen is you're going to keep going through all of the shows you want to be on, figure out who casts them, click on a bunch of different actors, and figure out what agents are getting their actors roles on these shows, which is a massive thing for you to learn, because that way you can then start targeting agents that are actually getting their actors work. And if you're pretty clear on your castable type and that you are pretty certain you could get on those shows, you're going to be doing those agents a huge favor when you email them, because they have to filter through tons of emails of actor submissions, and they want to find actors that are actually going to make them money, which means booking roles on shows that they can actually get their actors booked on. So that is how you find an awesome agent and target the right agents for you and save everybody, including yourself, a ton of time. By doing this, you're going to learn so much about the industry, and this is a big part of the business, and this is a big part of the work of being an actor. Yes, it's a little bit tedious, but you can find a lot of fun in this as well. You can learn a lot about people, learn a lot about the shows, have fun doing this, get passionate about it, and make your spreadsheet colorful, because that makes it extra fun too.
So there you have it. You have 3 major steps that you can take right now to get ready and stand out when you start applying for agents. Stay tuned for my next video, which I will link to below once it's up. It's coming out next week, by the way. It's going to be all about the submission process and the interview process, so you can get the agent of your dreams. And lastly, please follow me. I'm on Instagram at Jennifer Pelak, and I also have a free newsletter that you can subscribe to, which I'll also link to below at jenniferpelak.com. I send out free tips and tools for actors and performing artists like you every single week into your inbox. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you have any other questions. And don't forget to subscribe. My background is in a multitude of performing arenas. Some things worthy of noting is I do commercials and TV and film. I'm a big fan of experimental theater. Right now I'm working on an improvised musical piece that's all about the inner voices in your head. So that just gives you a little taste of what I'm about. And this channel is for other actors, performing artists, and creatives that are interested in the process of acting, in personal wellness, and in being their own boss.